It's NFL Week 4 Power Rankings. It's the first Power Rankings of the young NFL season. All lines that you're going to see are futures bets from BovadaSportsbook.com. Let's dig in to my first crop of teams here, the Let's Get It Together teams. These are teams that are 0-3 or 1-2. They're too good to be at a losing record even at this early point in the season. The Indianapolis Colts, 0-3. Carson Wentz, I know everything will work out. I know he's banged up, but they got to do better. I can't believe, when I saw the standings, I was surprised that they're 0-3, but they're certainly not going to make my power rankings. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, who are at this point, Bovada has them as co-favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 500 along with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 1-2, inexcusable. Teams have kind of figured out that if you triple cover Tyreek Hill, don't let him beat you over top, give up some catches to Travis Kelce, you can beat them. The addition of Josh Gordon should help them a little bit. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are my favorite team in terms of odds, because Bovada has them at plus 4,500 to win the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers, look, their problem to me is their offensive line. Their offensive line has been awful. I didn't mind when they had the tough sledding against the Buffalo Bills, who, by the way, they beat. And the Buffalo Bills are one of my favorite teams in the AFC this year. And actually, they're my favorite to win the AFC at this early point in the season. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, they won that game and then dropped 2 games at home, one to the Raiders, who are undefeated, and then last week to the Bengals, who are 2-1. Pittsburgh, you got to get it together. Come on now. Seattle Seahawks, I am very surprised. They looked very good against the Indianapolis Colts, but now we see, hey, the Colts haven't won a single game. Indeed, the Seattle Seahawks have dropped 2 straight. Russell Wilson is always an MVP candidate. Bovada has them at plus 2,000 to win the Super Bowl. They have some tough sledding. I do like that they can run the ball. I do like their offense just fine, but their defense is giving me pause. The next crop of teams that I'm going to include here, I used to call this the screen of respect. Teams that I couldn't fit into my top 10. Now I'm just calling it the no soup for you, because you know what? The fans aren't going to like that I have these teams, all good teams, and one of them is an undefeated team. I'm going to have these teams outside of my top 10 at this point. I like the teams, guys, but hey, no soup for you. And I can't even say earn it on the field, because I'm going to start with the Denver Broncos. Plus 2,800 to win the Super Bowl. I've been talking up the Denver Broncos defense for quite some time. The Denver Broncos defense is for real. Their problem is they haven't had a quarterback since Peyton Manning retired, and maybe even since Peyton Manning's last season when he was injured and they were splitting time with Brock Osweiler. Well, look, Teddy Bridgewater, he's not a wow-type quarterback, but he wins you games. Now I can see why Aaron Rodgers was so enamored with this team in the offseason. Now, granted, if the Green Bay Packers, first of all, they were never going to trade him anyway, as I'm well documented in saying, but if the Denver Broncos went in, they would have to trade like half their team to get Aaron Rodgers. Let's just wait and see if you're Denver, if you can sign him like they did with Peyton Manning all those years ago. But Bridgewater's getting it done. They're 3-0. I feel bad about leaving a 3-0 team off my top 10. Let me say this. If they go to 4-0, I have no choice but to put them in the top 10. Denver Broncos fans, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. Tell me where I'm getting this wrong. The Cincinnati Bengals, who just knocked off the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're 2-1. They're committing to the run. That's something I've criticized them about in recent years, but they are now committing to the run, and their defense is much improved. But hey, it's funny how defenses magically improve when you commit to the run and keep the defense well rested. Cincinnati Bengals, they're just not doing enough to get them into the top 10. Now, I know Baltimore. I know I'm going to hear from the Baltimore Ravens fans. 2-1. They just eked out, by the way, Justin Tucker, that 66-yard field goal. Awesome to watch. Bovada has them at plus 1,400 to win the Super Bowl. So among these teams, in my no soup for you crop here, 2-1 plus 1,400 win the Super Bowl. They always play strong defense and special teams. Lamar Jackson, great on the ground. My problem is if the Ravens ever fall down by 2 scores, Lamar Jackson, not the best downfield passer, although I do think he has improved this year. The addition of Sammy Watkins, sliding basically Marquise Brown into that assistant wide receiver, that wide receiver 1A or that wide receiver 2 role has helped considerably. It'll be interesting. New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston is playing the best football of his career, no doubt. So let me give a compliment to them. The Saints look, I don't want to say every bit as good as they did with Drew Brees in recent years. I'm not quite there yet, but let me say this. Without Drew Brees, the New Orleans Saints defense has stepped up. They're nearly impossible to run the ball against. Their defense is very good. If Jameis Winston can control the turnovers as he has done this young NFL season, the Saints are going to have a lot to say about it. I was going to put them in. I was actually going to do a top 15, but I figured screw it. Let's just be strong right off the bat. Jameis Winston, New Orleans Saints, I like them quite a bit. Bovada has them at plus 3,000 to win the Super Bowl, and they have a really good shot to make a deep playoff run. The Tennessee Titans, they dropped that first game. I think they lost their identity a little bit. I think maybe it was just, their new offensive coordinator, their new play caller, maybe wasn't quite in the flow of things, but now they've been running the offense through Derrick Henry again, and that's what you have to do to win games. By the way, the Tennessee Titans made a big investment in their defense in the offseason. I think they're going to be fantastic as we move forward through the year, especially with the Indianapolis Colts kind of tanking at this point, and the Houston Texans, who are better than you think they are, unfortunately Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, so the Tennessee Titans kind of have a clean run in this division. They're at plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to be a team that, look, they play December, January, February type football. They run the ball, they play defense, and their defense is better, so they're going to have a lot to say. The Dallas Cowboys, who their only loss so far this season, I can't even remember, was it week? Oh, they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 1. This team really looked good against Philadelphia, who I thought was actually fairly impressive with their defensive line. Their defense, the Philadelphia Eagles defense, is better than they had been in recent seasons. I know this Dallas offense can score points with Dak Prescott at quarterback. The defense is better than it was last season. I came into the season thinking the Washington football team might be the best team in that division. Now I'm thinking it's definitely the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not even wavering on that. Bovada has Dallas at plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl. I'm not ready to put them in the top 10, but they're certainly on the cusp. So with no further ado, let's go to my top 10. Number 10, the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, how fair is this, right? The Chargers, they just beat the Chiefs, by the way, sent the Chiefs to 1-2. The Chargers, they beat Washington to start the year. They lose to the Dallas Cowboys, who I said weren't on the top 10. So that's not fair at all, right? Tell me about it, Cowboys fans. Comment below. But the Chargers, I like them, man. They play really good defense. Justin Herbert, I believe in him. I believe him as a quarterback. They can run the ball. I like all of the running backs on their team, not just Eckler, but Justin Jackson as well. Their offensive personnel is better. Mike Williams is playing out of his mind to start the year. The Los Angeles Chargers, though, their defense is what has me really believing in them. I think the Chargers can make a deep run in the playoffs. I think they can make a run against the Chiefs to win this division, which I don't think a lot of people, even at this point with the Chiefs only one game behind, I don't think a lot of people would say that, but I am. I think the Chargers can get it done. Chargers, according to Bovada, plus 3,300 to win the Super Bowl. Number 9, the Cleveland Browns. Man, I was wavering on them to put them in the no soup for you screen or what have you, but the Cleveland Browns, man, they run the ball. Their defense is better. I like Baker Mayfield and what he does. This team hasn't been fully healthy when they have Beckham and Landry on the field to go with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. This offense really can do whatever they want to do. It really all comes down to the defense for the Cleveland Browns. They looked great against first-time starter Justin Fields last week. Let's see if they can keep it rolling. Number 8 on my list, the San Francisco 49ers, who just lost their first game this past weekend on Sunday Night Football to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. The San Francisco 49ers, prior to the season, I had them ranked as my number 2 team in the NFC. I had the Packers ranked as my number 3 team. Well, thanks to that game we just saw, I flipped to them. I'm not going to overreact. And by the way, the 49ers, I don't think they've been healthy since 1983. They always have half their team on the IR. What is going on there? Guys, it's okay to stretch every now and then. You need to fire your trainer. Every single year they have guys blowing out their knees. More fish oil, everybody, for crying out loud. Stretch. Do some yoga. I'm telling you, one season, you're snake bitten. 2 seasons, that's a heck of a coincidence. It's like 10 seasons in a row. San Francisco, get it together with your training team. But Bovada has them at plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, if they're healthy, they're going to be really, really tough to beat. Number 7 is the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers completely laid an egg in week 1. That was the karma slap of all karma slaps, getting just completely handled by the New Orleans Saints, but since then they've looked good. The Green Bay Packers, they did impress me. I do like that they're involving Aaron Jones more in the offense. I think that is the key to their success. The defense is looking a little bit better. I like the defensive back they drafted, but for crying out loud, Green Bay, get Aaron Rodgers a second receiver. You need some help there. At some point, Randall Cobb, look, I'm glad you made the trade, but you got to do more, Green Bay. Green Bay, by the way, Bovada has at plus 1,400 to win the Super Bowl. Number 6, the 3-0 Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are earning it on the field, and you know what? It's not so much their 3-0 record. The reason I like them is because their defense is better. I've been saying this about Gruden for years. Gruden plays January, February type football. He plays playoff football every week. That means you run the ball into the mouth of the defense and you impose your will. Darren Waller is awesome. Derek Carr is better than he gets credit for. You remember like 6 years ago, Derek Carr, everybody's talking about the MVP, then he breaks his leg, and now Derek Carr, he just sucks out of nowhere. That's not the case. Derek Carr is fine. And by the way, the Grudens always hate their quarterbacks. It's always a love-hate thing. But Derek Carr's balling out. This offense is good. Ruggs is playing better this year. I always think Hunter Renfrow is a little bit underrated. You got Waller, as I said. Brian Edwards is doing his thing. But this is all about the running game and defense. If the Raiders can stay healthy, and by the way, they haven't been healthy on the offensive line in a while either. If the Raiders can get healthy, they can make a run, man. I don't think that they're better long-term than the Chargers, but today they are the better team. I look forward to that showdown, by the way, the Chargers versus the Raiders coming up this week. Number 5 on the Raiders, by the way, according to Bovada, plus 3,300 to win the Super Bowl. Number 5 on my list, the Carolina Panthers, 3-0. Why do I put them above the Raiders? Because I like the way the defense is playing. The defense is playing better. Now, Carolina's had a little bit easier start to the season. I mean, they played the Jets and they played the Texans. It's easier. But here's the deal. Everybody wants to hate on Sam Darnold. The reality is, outside of, that half a season or that one season that Brett Favre played for the New York Jets, Sam Darnold was the best New York Jets quarterback probably in 30 years. That's how bad that organization is. It's impossible to survive that organization. I feel bad for Zach Wilson, who looks like a villain in a teen teen movie. He looks like the bad guy in Karate Kid with that headband. I'm not into it, but New York Jets, they're all right. But this is a Carolina Panthers segment. So, Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold gets it done, reuniting with Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore's looking great. Christian McCaffrey, he's hurt. I think Chuba Hubbard will be okay there. But the Carolina Panthers defense is why I'm putting them up there. Plus, I think Sam Darnold is underrated, as I was alluding to earlier. According to Bovada, Bovada has Carolina at plus 5,000 to win the Super Bowl. So they think that Carolina's a pretender team. I don't see it that way. I think Carolina, I like the program they're building there, man. I like what they're doing. Number 4 on my list, the Arizona Cardinals at 3-0. Kyler Murray is probably the MVP of this young NFL season so far. The dude he's a faster Russell Wilson. He throws the ball so well. They have an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver. I'd like to see them run a little bit more. I talk about playoff type football. When the weather gets cold, you have to go on the road and play in bad weather. Say you have to go on the road against Green Bay in the playoffs. It's hard to get that passing game going, but Kyler Murray can run too, right? Everybody likes Lamar Jackson. Nobody really talks about Kyler Murray as a prolific runner because he doesn't carry the ball as much. He doesn't get as many yards, but he certainly could if he wanted to. Look, I like the Arizona Cardinals. Their defense is much improved. My problem with the defense right now is they give up yardage. They're opportunistic. They create turnovers, but the defense has to get a little bit better as we move in. But hey, you're number 4. You're number 4. So that's a good ranking. I believe in the Cardinals. Number 3 on my list. Oh, the Cardinals, by the way, plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl, according to Bovada. Number 3 on my list, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're still, at this point, my Super Bowl favorite. The problem is they lost to the Los Angeles Rams, and I cannot rank the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ahead of the Los Angeles Rams at this point in the season. They didn't get it done. Now, I know Tampa had some injuries. Look, Pierre Paul, if he plays in that game, it's a different game. I get it. But the Rams look really good too to start the year, so I have to put the Rams ahead of them. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, am I betting on them when it comes to January and February? No, I'm sorry. Yes, I am betting on them. I am not betting against them. You got to believe in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are right now plus 500 according to Bovada to win the Super Bowl. I think that's fair. Number 2 on my list, who's it going to be? Is it going to be the Rams? Is it going to be the Bills? It's going to be the Bills. Why? Because the Bills lost to the Steelers to start the year. If the Bills were 3-0 and they got it done on the field, I would rank the Bills number 1. The Bills were my preseason pick to make the Super Bowl for the AFC. The Bucs were my preseason pick to make the Super Bowl for the NFC. I have both teams in the top 3. Look, Josh Allen, he didn't play well against Pittsburgh. He wasn't sharp. He's been sharper the last 2 games. They decimated the Washington football team, who I think is generally a pretty good defense. This team can do whatever it wants to do offensively. I shouldn't even say that. They have been running the ball a little bit more. I like teams that will run the ball situationally. Obviously, Josh Allen can run people over, but that's not what they're really doing these days. They're just passing the ball over the top of the people, and they're handing it to Zach Moss and Devin Singletary and Matt Breida. And this defense the understated storyline of the NFL offseason. This defense, which everybody was just like, the Buffalo Bills defense, they used to be dominant like 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago. Then last year they took a step back, but the offense stepped up. Well, this year that defense reloaded everybody. They made some picks in the draft. Their offseason was good. This defense is for real. This offense is for real. They are a Super Bowl threat. They are still my favorite team in the AFC, man. They are loaded and ready to go. They just have to stay healthy, knock on wood. Bovada has them at plus 1,100 to win the Super Bowl. They might be my favorite Super Bowl bet. Now, number one, the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford getting it done. Cooper Kupp really kind of resurrecting his career. Kupp had a down year. I thought he might be on a downward trend. You get some new blood in there at quarterback. Cooper Kupp's scoring about 10 times a game. He's catching these touchdown passes. The running game is a little bit of an issue right now, but they'll get that handled. And McVay is a good play caller. He'll run enough to keep this an offense or a balanced offense, which will give Matthew. I keep saying Sam Darnold for some reason. Matthew Stafford, give him shots over the top. The defense was my question mark coming into this young NFL season. Was losing their defensive coordinator going to be a big issue? Well, when you have Aaron Donald and company, you can have a good defense. I mean, this defense is doing what it wanted to against Tampa Bay. They neutralized Tampa Bay's offense. They showed some warts. I mean, Tampa Bay's secondary and Tampa Bay's running game offensively, not so good. Those were two warts that Tampa Bay has to figure out. The Rams, at this point, I don't really see a lot of weaknesses, everybody. They're good. They're good across the board. So I say Tampa Bay, they're still my pick to win the Super Bowl. No disrespect to the Rams. We'll see how the season progresses. I will walk that back if I need to. The Bills, though, I am still unwavering. They're my pick in the AFC. So there you go. My top two teams right now, the Rams and the Bills, the Buccaneers and Cardinals. A lot of respect for them as well. There you go. Please comment below if you're watching on YouTube. Tell me where I got it right. Tell me where I got it wrong. We'll catch you again with some more power rankings in the coming weeks. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you again soon.